Hello guys, and welcome to every single chapter from chapters 1 to 5 of my book I've been writing, Into the Deep Dark Abyss. This is chapters 1 to 5. You guys can listen to all 5 chapters on our YouTube channel while you're waiting for me to finish writing chapter 6, which is almost done. I'm already almost done writing chapter 7 too. I've already got chapter 8 beginning to be written as well. So if you guys are excited, then let's dive into this. But I want to make a quick announcement. The Dinosaurs Return series is not going to be released in March. It'll be released sometime in April because I haven't even gotten to filming the whole thing yet. I'm so busy writing the books that I haven't even gotten outside to film with my goats yet to make the dinosaur video. So it might not be here until maybe even May. So if you guys are disappointed about that, that's fine with me. Anyway, let's get the music mantra running, and then you can listen to all 5 chapters of my book. TB 145232, The Mysteries at Hamlet Bay, Book 1, Into the Deep Dark Abyss. Copyright 2025 by me, Aiden. All things in this book are all products of my imagination and are not real. This book contains 320 pages. Approximate reading time, 8 hours. Contains Chapter 1, The Dark Knight. Chapter 2, The Key. Chapter 3, The Magnet. Chapter 4, Mr. O. Chapter 5, A Suspect. Chapter 6, Not the Woman to Mess With. Chapter 7, The Man in the Window. Chapter 8, The Chase. Chapter 9, As It Was. Chapter 10, The Clue. Chapter 11, Dark Horizon. Chapter 12, The Storm. Chapter 13, Two Wrongs Make a Clue. Chapter 14, An Unexpected Encounter. Chapter 15, Till Death Do Us Part. Chapter 16, Farewell, My Friend. Chapter 17, Crashed. Chapter 18, You Saw What? Chapter 19, The Cave. Chapter 20, It's Blood. Chapter 21, I Know How He Died. Chapter 22, The Ombulan Poison. Chapter 23, He is Twisted. Chapter 24, Bad Weather. Chapter 25, Another Clue. Chapter 26, An Accident. Chapter 27, The Only Way is Murder. Chapter 28, Into the Deep Dark Abyss. Chapter 29, Crashing Waves. Chapter 30, It All Came Undone. Up next in the Mysteries at Hamlet Bay. Prologue. I got inspiration for this book from a whole lot of authors, including H.Y. Hanna, J.K. Rowling, H.R.F. Keating, and so many other authors' names that I don't remember at all. Anyway, I present to you The Mysteries at Hamlet Bay, Book 1, Into the Deep Dark Abyss. And this is also going to be read by AI because I don't have time to read the whole book. So, let's start.
The Mysteries at Hamlet Bay. Chapter 1. The Dark Night. It was night at Hamlet Bay and all was asleep, but Detective John Shames was not asleep. He was assigned to the most baffling case. A murder that had shook the entire inhabitants of Hamlet Bay. The strangest thing about the murder was that, it seemed like he had been murdered, in front of everyone. Now we go back June 1930. Here's what I mean about what I said earlier. It was the day of the village ball. He was in a crowd of people and suddenly he fell on one person. The victim's name is Jaden. That person's name was Harold Schwartz. She had rescued him when he collapsed, expecting him to stand up and say something, but he didn't. She wondered if he had been drinking too much and he collapsed, but he had not been drinking too much. She checked his pulse to see if he was still alive. And there was no pulse. This happened 68 years ago, when there was no way to tell how a person died. And yet the police still investigated it. So 68 years later the mystery was still not solved. Detective after detective tried to solve the case but never did. Now we go back to the present time in this story 1998. Detective John Shames was in his office looking over the case files, poring over them, thinking to himself, how could we have missed this? Of course it was years later before we could truly tell how a person died. But there was a knock at the door to his office and a woman stepped in. She was Inspector Catherine Dames of the Hamlet Bay Police Department, HBPD. Hamlet Bay was an island next to New York. On the island was beach and it was called Hamlet Bay. The island was called Hamlet Island. Next to the beach was a village. It was called the village of Hamlet Bay. It inhabited over 50,000 people. John looked up at the door and said, "Hey Catherine." She responded saying, "So do you think you can solve this mysterious murder?" He responded saying, "It's going to be hard to figure out how the victim died. This was 68 years ago and we still don't have enough technology to figure it out." "Yes, very hard, but I'm sure you can." She stepped closer to him. "You're my last resort, John. Don't let me down." 37 minutes later John went outside to see a cute little fuzzy black cat on the edge of the balcony ramp. "Hey, you little cutie," he said, coming over to pet the little cat. A woman with blonde hair came towards them. "Hey, you found my cat," she said. "Yes, your cat is beautiful." "I know," she said, beaming. "His name is Mocha." She picked up the kitten and carried him back to her house. John walked back to his house and stepped inside. The door creaked ominously like in a horror movie. The place seemed empty. Instinctively he pulled out his gun, walking down the hallway making his way to his grandma's bedroom. He opened the door. Again it opened ominously like in a horror movie. He expected to see an intruder or a coffin with a vampire in it. But no. His grandma was lying asleep. He chided himself for his silly thoughts. He was a detective after all. There was no such thing as magic or vampires or goblins or ghosts. And yet he couldn't help himself thinking about how strange the murder was, and he wondered if the rumors coming around the village were true. That the person killed was killed by a demon. Or a ghost. His spine tingled. Then brushing his thoughts away, he went to wake up his grandma and see if she needed anything. Now about the village, it was in the center of the island. At the left of the village was the police department. And at the center of the village was where the main activity was at. There was the village green and the greenhouse so people can buy flowers and plants. There was the motel, and all of the village people's houses. John's house was next to the police station. Now you may be asking why John and his grandma live inside such an old house. It's because it's all they could afford. After a few minutes of talking with his grandma, he sat down next to her and said, "Is there such thing as ghosts or demons?" His grandma paused for a second, pondering what she should say. Then she said, I've always believed that it's possible ghosts and demons exist, but. She then said. The problem is that people let themselves believe ghosts and demons don't exist. Except in the Bible, she then said. It talks all about demons. And ghosts like the Holy Spirit. Could it be possible, John said, that demons and ghosts do exist? And if so, could they actually harm people? What if we're going to fight against a war full of demons? He asked. The Bible says we are fighting a war, she said. Huh, fighting a war right now? I don't see war or demons at all. His grandma interrupted him and said. You haven't been reading the Bible, have you, child? It says we're going through a spiritual war. It's not real, I mean we can't see it, it's in our spirit. We're fighting for our own spirit, dummy. She said. A spiritual war, I've never heard of such a thing. John said. Oh my God, your mother really has never raised you well, has she? I knew I should have taken her offer to raise you. You would have known way much more about the Bible and the spiritual war, if it wasn't for me picking you up. And now you don't know even anything from the Bible. What's the first thing God said in the Bible? I don't know, John said. Holy Mother of God, it's let there be light in the firmament and there was light. You really don't know anything about the Bible, do you? You know what, I'm going to give you a Bible. She turned over to her dresser and picked up a leather-bound book and handed it to John. Here, she said, take this. No. I can't take this is yours. Take it now. I got a second one in the other room. Okay, then he took the Bible from her hands and pocketed it in his back pocket. Then he turned to go before his grandma stopped him, saying, And if you haven't finished the Bible in about 4 months and come back to tell me all you know from it, I'll be very mad. Okie dokie, he responded. Then he left his grandma's bedroom, and left the house. The familiar smell of fresh air and the sound of the waves hitting the beach hit him when he opened the front door and stepped outside. Then a woman stepped up in front of him. It was the woman with blonde hair he had seen earlier. She smiled and then she said, I believe I haven't told you my name, I just moved here to Hamlet Bay recently. Then she said, My name is Kate, short for Catherine, but Kate Jones. He nodded his head and said, Nice to meet you, Kate Jones. You can just call me Kate, she said. Then she turned to leave before she paused and said, I don't suppose you can watch my kitten? She asked. Wait now, he then said. Okay.
Chapter 2. The Key. John stepped into Kate's house looking around, and then he was pounced on by a little black kitten. Mocha. Kate yelled. Sorry about him, I think this is a new game for him, jumping out of hidden corners and pouncing on other people's feet. She picked up the little kitten and he squirmed in her arms. She took him to his room. Aw. He's got his own little bedroom. Kate smiled. Yep, he's got his own little bedroom. He's so cute, isn't he? She sighed. It was only 2 months ago when we rescued him from a quarry in the middle of the road outside of England. England? John asked. Did you live in England? No. She laughed. All around the world I've been living, in every place in this country, I mean planet. Everywhere. Cool, John said. So, you're a detective, huh? Kate asked. I'm a new hire, John said. You're here about that murder that happened 68 years ago, aren't you? I heard about it on the newspapers. It was the most mysterious murder in the world. And every detective in the world tried to solve it, but no one did. Yep, it was the most mysterious murder. And I'm Inspector Catherine's last hire before she gives up on ever solving the case. And I'm going to prove to her that I can solve this case. It's just ever since I first stepped into Hamlet Bay 3 months ago, I've had this feeling that something magical, if I'm not starting to sound crazy, weird has been happening. I have been going through training, and all of the beliefs in magic and stuff has been beaten out of me, but he paused for a second before saying something else. Then Kate interrupted him and said, it's because of the murder. People around the village are saying that a ghost did it or demon. It's very scary. John walked over to the kitchen and opened the fridge door. Is there any pizza? John asked. Yes, Kate said. She opened the freezer door and grabbed the box with the frozen pizza and put it in the oven. There we go. Do you want anything to drink? She asked. Just some water, thanks, John said. After a few minutes of eating, Kate asked, so you have no idea at all what happened? No, I don't. I still don't know how he died, the victim. 2 more minutes passed with no event or anything happening before Kate then said, so can you help me find the key to the house? I called you here so you can watch my cat, but I think I lost the key. No problem at all, I can help you find it. John and Kate walked into the living room, but what they saw made them stop in their tracks. The cat Mocha had escaped from his room, and he was trying to catch the key. The key was sliding up and down the wall. How is that? Before Kate could finish her sentence, the key suddenly turned in John's direction and flew straight to John's eye. Look out! Kate screamed. She jumped in front of John and grabbed the key, and like magic the key became limp in her hand. How was that key flying? Kate asked. I don't know, John replied. This is so weird. John, are you okay? Yes, I'm fine. John's usual pride started kicking in. He did not want to show he was weak. But it was something about Kate that made him trust her. The night went by well. Nothing more unusual happened. After Kate came back from her job, John left to go back to his house. He said goodnight to his grandma and then he went to bed. All the while he thought about Kate. But in the middle of the night, he was awoken by a strange noise coming outside. He got up and looked out the window. He saw nothing. Strange, he thought. He went back to bed. But just before he went back to bed, he heard another strange noise. Thump, thump, thump. He started to get annoyed. He wanted to give whoever was making that noise a piece of his mind. But he was way too tired too. So, he fell into deep sleep. Kate asked. Yes, it was. Daniel replied. So, someone put a magnet in my wall? But why would somebody do that? I don't know. John said. You will pay for the damage, right? Kate asked Daniel. Yes, I will. This is going to cost a fortune. Anyway, I'm going to call the repairman. Kate left into the other room. John gave one last goodbye, and he left the house. He walked down the street and made his way to the police station. He opened the door and stepped inside. He went into Inspector Catherine's office. He told her all of the events from today and yesterday. She listened lost in thought, then she said, It sounds like someone tried to kill you, John. What? Yes, said Catherine. Which means you need to be careful, John. This person is dangerous. I will be cautious. Good, John. Also, this came for you in the mail. She handed John a manila letter. John opened it. The words he read shocked him. It read, John, you should be careful. For you do not know what you are about to uncover, a secret that should never be uncovered. About what happened 68 years ago. You are in great danger. If you ever see a red car, hide. Illinois, keep in touch. Signed, Mr. L. John read it to Catherine, and she looked at John. She looked worried. This is not good. Be careful, John. This might be a warning. John arrived back at his house for lunch, and he smelled food cooking in the kitchen. His grandma must be making lunch. John went into the kitchen and smiled at his grandma. She smiled back at him. Just in time, she said, I thought I'd have to telephone you and ask you to come for lunch. No, I just checked the time. It was already almost the afternoon anyway. And Grandma, I don't want to worry you, but... John read his grandma the note. She listened in shock and said, Who's Mr. O? And why does he know you? I think this person might be the killer. Really, John? A 68-year-old killer? He must be dead by now. John looked up at his grandma. He couldn't believe he had not thought of asking his grandma about the murder 68 years ago. Do you know anything from the murder 68 years ago? He asked his grandma. Well. She paused for a second. I was 10 when the murder happened. It went like this. I was sitting on my couch at the time of the murder. And it was almost night. Around the time the ball was taking place. I was watching the TV when a news broadcast popped up, and it was about the murder. I was shocked. After that, I heard rumors around the village and theories. But no one knew what happened. That's all I remember. Sorry. That's okay, said John. I'm sure you'll remember soon. After they ate supper, John went upstairs. He looked out the window. He saw the beach and the waves hitting the beach. Slowly he fell asleep. He was jolted awake by that strange thumping noise again. Thump, thump, thump. Ugh. He turned over and put his fingers in his ears, and finally, he fell asleep. While he was sleeping that night, he had strange dreams. He was in a strange cave. It was almost like an endless cave. It was very strange. He kept hearing him saying, Into the deep dark abyss, into the deep dark abyss, into the
Deep dark abyss, into the deep dark abyss.
He woke up again in the middle of the night and looked out the window. He had a strange feeling going through his body that those words meant something. But what was the dark abyss? He didn't know. But he had a feeling that from his parents' death to the death that happened 68 years ago, his body was telling him this would all plunge him into the deep dark abyss. A abyss full of evil, lies, deceit, and murder.
So that was chapter 4 of The Mysteries at Hamlet Bay. Stay tuned for Chapter 5.
Chapter 3, The Magnet. John woke up the next day to see light shining through the curtains, and the sound of the waves hitting the beach and the wind rustling through the trees. That John almost fell back to sleep. Slowly John sat up in his bed. He could smell food cooking in the kitchen, so his grandma must be up making breakfast. He got up and went to the bathroom, taking a quick shower. When he was finished, he got into new clothes and walked downstairs. John's house had 2 floors. The first floor started at the front door, then you walk down a hallway. At the end of the hallway was 2 doors. In the first door was the kitchen. The second door had John's grandma's room. In John's grandma's room was a bed at the back wall. Next to the bed was a small table with 3 drawers. And on the table was a small lamp which was on. There was a small window at the back left wall. The window was facing the table. Sitting under the window was a dresser. And on it, John's grandma's china doll collection. In the drawers was John's grandma's clothes and nightgowns. Upstairs was the living room. There was a coffee table in the middle of the living room, and 2 couches, a small TV, and an armchair. Then there was a door in the living room that connected to John's bedroom. In John's bedroom was a small bed and a chair, a table, and a window at the side of the bed, and a dresser. And photos of John when he was younger hanging on the wall. Him and his grandma, his old dog, and his mother and father. His mother had red hair. His father had brown hair. Sadly, 4 years ago his mother and father were all murdered. And that mystery was never solved too. A lot like the murder that had happened 68 years ago. John was 25 years old. His grandma was 77 years old, turning 78 in August. John sat down at the kitchen table. Then he said, "What are you making for breakfast?" His grandma responded saying, "I'm making pancakes and eggs and bacon." "That sounds yummy." Then John said, "Grandma, I have to tell you something." His grandma looked at him questioningly. "What is it?" she asked John. "It's about what happened last night." "Huh? What happened last night?" John said, "I hope you'll believe me, but I went over to Kate's house, and we ate pizza together." "Wait." His grandma interrupted him. "You went to a house and ate? With a girl?" No, Grandma, it's not what you think." His grandma interrupted him again and said, "Who was this girl you ate pizza with?" "Kate." John replied. "Oh, great. My grandbaby is falling for a girl." John looked at his grandmother with a mixture of anger and annoyance. while trying to hide the blush that hit his cheek. No, I'm not. You just listen to what I'm trying to say. Alright, I will. So anyway, me and Kate finished eating. Then she said she needed me to help her find her key to her house. She called me over to her house because she wanted me to help her watch her cat. And we met back when I was at my office. Then I went to the living room and the key was sliding up and down the wall. His grandmother looked at him in shock. It was what? Yes, it was. But then the key flew to my left eye. Oh my God, are you okay? Yes. I'm fine. After John and his grandmother finished eating, John left the house. He walked over to Kate's house, and he knocked on the door. Kate answered the door. Her eyes light up when she saw John. Hey, you're back, she said. Yes, I returned. John stepped in the living room to see a man standing in the middle of the living room. Who is that? John asked. The man stepped in front of him.
Detective John, nice to meet you.
Do I know you?
Oh yeah, we have not met. My name is Daniel Brady.
John shook Daniel's hand. Nice to meet you, I guess. Now Daniel, Kate said. Tell John what made the key fly. John looked at Daniel questioningly. You know how the key could fly. How do you know? Daniel walked over to the wall and bashed a hole into it. Why did you do that? Kate asked Daniel. It's going to cost a fortune to replace the wall. Daniel pulled a magnet out from the wall.
That's how the key was flying. By a magnet.
Huh? Wait, so you're telling me that the magnet you just pulled out of the wall was what made that key fly? I don't understand how that works. Daniel replied.
Yep, John, that's how the key was flying.
But how did you know? John asked.
Simple, there is no way the key could fly besides a magnet. You see, the magnet in the wall attracted the key. The key was made out of metal. And the magnet pulls things over that is metal. You see it all the time with many movies we watch. Things fly and stuff. Simple explanation for that. Magnets, editing, and string.
I don't get it, John replied.
You won't understand it now, but when you see movies where a human is flying or objects are flying, there are 3 explanations for how they did that. 1. Magnets. The magnet attracts an object and makes it fly up to the magnet. 2. Editing. Editing processes make it so people can't see anyone holding a magnet. Or if there's a magnet attached to a ceiling, then the magnet can be removed with editing. And last but not least, strings. Strong cables or strings can pull a human up in the air and down in the air to make them look like they are flying. This is where editing comes in here as well. Editing will remove the strings so it looks like they're flying. So that's why I know how this key was flying. Because magnets have a force that attracts metal objects to it. It's pretty interesting.
A look of recognition dawned in John's eyes. Now I'm starting to recognize it and understand it.
Good. I like it when people understand what I'm explaining to them. Most people think I'm gambling nonsense.
It's not nonsense to me, said Kate.
Chapter 5, A Suspect. June 1960. A man sat in his chair in a small shack. He saw a strange man walking down the street. The man appeared to be following a woman down the street. Knowing New York's reputation of having lots of crime, he decided to go outside to see if he was still following the woman. He was gone, so he went back inside. He sat down. He heard a noise in his house. It sounded like someone was trying to open a door in his house. He jumped up and ran into the kitchen. What he saw made him scream. A man standing in his kitchen. And he had no eyes. And he was holding a knife. "38 years later, 1998. John left his house and went to visit Kate. He stepped inside and he could see the hole that was there before was gone. Kate came over to him. "Hey, nice to see you, John," she said. "Hey, I see that you got your wall fixed." "Yes," Kate said. "That repairman was great. He got the wall fixed in under a day." "That's good," John said. John told Kate about the note he had gotten yesterday. She looked at him in shock. "Who is this Mr. O? And what does he want?" "I don't know," John said. "I think this is not going to be Mr. O's last note. He probably will send another note. But something's telling me he isn't a threat." "Well," Kate said, "his note sounds a bit threatening. We don't know his intentions yet. For all we know, he might be trying to warn us. Or me, since it was addressed to me." "Yeah, that's possible." Kate looked at him doubtfully. "I still don't know." A few minutes later, John left Kate's house, and he headed to the police station. But as he made his way to the police station, a car was following him. He started to run, trying to get away from the car, which was steadily gaining up on him. He started to panic. He needed to get away from that car, and fast. He remembered what Mr. O had said. "John, you should be careful. You are in great danger. If you ever see a red car, hide." John looked behind him. It was a red car. Oh no, he has to get away. He hid behind a tree. Then the car started driving around in circles 6 times. He remembered that the thumping sounds happened 6 times. 3 the night before and 3 last night. After that, the car drove away. He wondered if the thumping sounds happening 6 times and the car driving around in circles 6 times meant something. He came out from behind the tree and ran to the police station. He told Inspector Catherine about the strange red car that was chasing him down the road. She looked shocked. The note said that if you ever saw a red car, you must hide, she said. "Yes," said John. "Did you manage to get the license plate?" she asked. "Yes, I managed to get the license plate. I got a quick glance of it. And since I've got a photographic memory, I managed to photograph it literally in my head." "Good," she said. John told her the license plate, and she set out of bolo for anyone who saw the red car in the license plate descripted. That John had told her that they should call the police immediately. "We need to find the suspect who tried and almost killed one of my agents," said Inspector Catherine. Then there was a whole police search, and everyone searched around the village. They asked questions to different neighbors, and even checked their cars to see if they were the ones that had that car with the license plate. But it seems like the person with that red car had vanished. John hoped that the suspect in question would be caught. The next day John got up and told his grandma about the events of what happened the other day. His grandma looked shocked. "I hope they catch that person inside that red car," she said. "Me too," John replied. "I'm stumped on this case," he said. "It seems to be a real mystery. I really hope we can figure out what happened all those years ago. The case is so strange. Ever since I stepped into Hamlet Bay 3 months ago, strange things have been happening. First the flying key. Then someone putting a magnet inside my friend Kate's wall. And then the strange red car that was chasing me down the road. It's almost like someone doesn't want me here. Like they know I'm going to figure something out. That's almost definitely a possibility," John's grandma said. "Whoever is doing this knows you're on his trail and wants to get you to frighten you away. But you forgot one thing, the note Mr. Ull sent you. I don't think I should include that," John said. "I don't know why, but something's telling me that the note isn't a threat or anything. Maybe Mr. Ull was warning me to tell me that I'm in danger and he wanted to get me out of the danger's way. He told me. If you ever see a red car, hide." John's grandma interrupted him and said, "But how would he know that it was a red car that was going to chase you down that road? Unless it was him telling you he was going to try and kill you. That could be it. Fine, I'll take your theory. But something's still telling me that Mr. Ull is the not bad guy. You should at least pursue that theory that he might be out to kill you, John." Yes. I'll follow his trail to see where it leads me," John said. "But still, I just have this gut feeling that he might be good. When you listen to your gut back in the days when you were a police officer, you always get into trouble, and that one time you almost died. I just don't want you to make that mistake again." "Well, I'm not in B Division anymore," John said. "I am now a full-scale detective. And I'm smart enough to know not to follow a strange theory anyway. I'll have to go and check on Kate, see if she's all right. You check on that girl a little bit too often. You're always popping out towards her house ever since you first met Kate. All I hear is, 'Kate did this. Kate said, Kate watched this, Kate told me this. Kate told me that.' Kate's shocked about this. Loki, you're obsessed with her." John looked at his grandma in shock. "No, I'm not." "Stop it, Grandma. I'm totally not." Even though everything from his stomach was rolling and his cheeks was flushing, told him his grandma was correct. Hurriedly he finished eating his breakfast and he left the house, making sure he didn't make the mistake of going anywhere near the road, staying close to Grandma's house, and making sure that he ran through the shortcut to the police station. Was his grandma right? He thought. Am I really falling for a girl? He could not believe he was having such adult feelings right now. Even though he was 25, he still couldn't believe that he would ever fall for anyone. But it is such a romantic place to fall in love, he thought, looking up at the sky, seeing how bright blue it was, with no clouds in it, and hearing the waves rolling against the beach, and the wind wrestling through the trees, making him contemplate whether he was falling in love, that he would have his first. He gave himself a mental shake. Now he was letting himself fall into the wrong stories. There was no such thing as true love. Just evil, lies, and deceit. And that's what he taught himself as he was growing up. To never trust anybody. To never grow close to anybody. Besides the people closest to him. But one day he had told himself he would have a family, he would have kids and make his extended family real. Then the red car started zooming down the road past him. John jumped behind a tree. He saw sitting in the driver's seat a man, and if it was not his imagination, he had no eyes.
Thank you for listening to Chapter 5 of Into the Deep Dark Abyss, written by me. It took me a while because there are multiple versions of this chapter. Thank you so much for listening to it, which is why it took so long for it to finally come out. I am currently working on the next chapter in the mystery, but listen to this monstrous of music while it's happening.